welcome to another video, and today I'll be doing another review. Now, I did one of these motor coaster, and I was requested to do one of these rivals. I was going to get around to it anyway, but I decided to do it next. Now, before we get into this, I just want to say sorry for obviously not uploading in almost about 2 weeks. That's just because I've had a really bad cold. I've had it for almost a week now, and it's really annoying. So I just want to get that out of the way, so sorry. Anyways, let's just get into this. So DC Rapids is probably considered as one of the best roller coasters in the world, which I do agree with. But yet again, the fact is that I don't really like to rank coasters before I've written them. I know I've done all these lists. You might think that's a bit stupid because I'm doing on these top 10 lists and stuff like that. But they're all for a bit of fun, for a bit of entertainment. Yeah, so yeah, in terms of what I've written, it doesn't really have any competition, so that's why I don't really like to rank it. I don't really know where to rank it in the world. But anyways, let's get into this. So for the stats for this ride, it is a manufacturer's Mac Rides, probably one of the best manufacturers in the world. It has a height of 202 foot, or that's around about 62 meters in metric. Length 4.5 thousand foot, which is it's pretty long. So it's the longest coast in Australia and probably in Oceania. And it's got a speed of 71.5 miles an hour, which is 150 k's an hour. Pretty decent for what it is. That's a pretty decent statistics. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into the full experience of it. So because this is a very compact park, you walk into it, it's just to your left, it's all the way down to the left, and this is definitely my favorite part of the ride. Very picturesque with that sign and with the chain lift in the background. So walk in, and let's be honest, it doesn't have that good theming. It's probably better than most Six Flags and Cedar Fair theming, but that's pretty much about it. It's just some walls with wallpaper on it, pretty much. Now, it does have a fast track lane, a single rider, and for backward seating, and obviously general entry. So yes, this does have single rider lines, and the backwards row is a different line. Not to mention that you also have to pay $10 for backwards if you want to know that. But that's AUS, so that's going to be a little bit cheaper for different currencies. Anyway, so you're going to get onto the into the station, and the restraints are very nice. This is definitely the best restraints I've ever experienced. And what I like about these is, if just in case you get stapled, they kind of raise up like at least a couple of centimeters off your legs, so you don't get stapled. And the thing great is when you get pretty much pulled out of your seat, the lap bar also comes up as well, so you get some pretty good air time as well. These are definitely comfortable lap bars. It's not as they're actually different to normal lap bar micro ride users. And that's just because of, I think, the Australian law that any coaster on a certain height limit needs to have seatbelts. That's why Superman and Tower Terror and stuff like that all have seatbelts. So that's just how it is. But it doesn't really do anything to the restraints. They're both perfect fine. So you're going to start off the layout by going into the 200 foot and 202 foot lift hill. And yeah, this is it's a pretty fast lift hill, and then I'm going to go into the drop. Now the drop personally is probably my favorite part of the ride. On the front, it's really good because I love seeing that twisting section of the drop. I love looking down on that, and obviously at the back you're gonna get whipped down that drop, especially obviously in backwards. 100%. I love just going down that drop and just seeing the Joker face in distance. It's so cool, especially when it's lit up. Then you're going to go into, first before about the Camelback Hill, you're going to go into probably what used to be the rattliest part of the ride until annual maintenance. Yeah, it was pretty rattly. They've pretty much fixed it now after annual maintenance, and it's pretty much smooth now. It's just like a tiny rattle with the back seat, but other than that, it's pretty much perfect. Then you're going to go into this massive Camelback airtime hill, and personally, this is just my opinion, this probably could rival Steel Vengeance's Outer Bank turn. I'm just saying. Now, I'm probably Steel Vengeance Outer Bank turn is probably better just because you get those pretty good laterals because you're banking outwards. But in terms of the airtime it delivers, I do think it could rival. I don't say it could rival because I've been on Steel Vengeance, but honestly, do truly think it could rival that Out of Nocturnal Steel Vengeance. It has great airtime. You out of your seat for a solid. It feels like at least 3 seconds. So then you're gonna go into, well, he's probably one of the most overhyped, not really the most overhyped, but the most hyped up elements on this ride, and it is the non-inverting loop. Now this non-inverting loop is great. Now I probably would prefer it over a normal loop, which is obviously good. In terms of the front row, it's pretty rippy. It matters how good the pacing is on the ride, how it's actually running that day. And obviously in the back row, it is fantastic. The first time I went on backwards, I was pleasantly surprised to say that this was probably definitely the best element on the ride. Before I really looked into DC rivals. But then, you know, the one really thing I don't really like about this, well, it's not really just the element's fault. It's just, you know, once you've done it, a lot of times you've done backwards, a lot of times, you know, you've experienced that -2 Gs apparently that you get on that non-inverting loop. The more you experience it, the more, you know, used to it you get, and, you know, it's still fun to go over. It's probably definitely, obviously, one of the best elements on the ride, for sure. But it's just, it's kind of, you've been there, done that. I don't want to say it's a one-trick pony, but it definitely kind of feels like that. So, you know, you're going to go into the least best part of the ride, and that is the Stengle dive kind of, turn. Yeah, it's just nothing really happens here. Then you're probably going to go into the most underrated part of the ride, and it's just like dive loop, the form dive loop. I don't even know what this is. It's a dive loop kind of turnaround, and you know, in the back row and backwards, you get airtime. I was surprised to get airtime, and as well as that weird, that weird laterals you get, and just turning that force menu, you just get whipped down that element, which is great. So then after that, you're gonna go into just a couple bank turns, nothing to do, and also you got like a airtime hill, like a twisted airtime hill. You got a pop of airtime there. You're gonna go into a helix, which is pretty good. It's probably the most forceful part of the ride, to be honest. I love how it, you know, intervenes through all the other track in that area. And then you're gonna into probably yet again, I know I've said this a lot, but it's probably yet again one of my favorite parts of the ride. I don't know which one's the best, but they're definitely all up there. Is the 3.5 bunny hills going into the brake run. These really good. Like they're not like pops of airtime. They're between sustained and like little ejector moments. They're pretty good. They're definitely, you know, more strong than just little pops, and they don't really feel more sustained than something like the drop. What the drop has, like the airtime that it delivers. But it's still a really great element, and it's a great way to finish up. Probably the best way to finish up a Hypercoaster. And then you hit the brakes. Now, the first time I rode this ride was kind of when I was GP back in January, and we waited about 1.5 hours for the front row. Well, we luckily got front row, and it was definitely worth it. I remember loving it, and it kind of just really wanted me to get back to going into Enthusiast again. And I really wanted to ride again, so I rode using the single rider line again that day, and it was on like the middle, around about row 5 or something, and it was also really great, really good. Yeah, just overall this ride is really good. There's just one thing that I really would, want it to have more is intensity. It kind of downs me that this is not really that much of a Tesla ride. It doesn't get a lot of variety in its layout, but the intensity is not there. Like, yeah, the non-inverting loop is pretty intense. You get some pretty good laterals there, and the drop, I guess you could say, is pretty intense. But there's not really that many intense moments, except for, the helix is is more about the force. But yeah, to give an overall rating of this ride, I would probably give it somewhere around a 9.7, rounding over to 10 out of 10. Yet again, it's just needs a little bit more intense, and it would be pretty much almost a perfect ride. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure to leave a like and comment if you actually, ridden this and what's your overall opinion on it. But anyways, guys, hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.